Good morning, Lady Barbara. Today is Healthy, Wealthy, Wise Friday, and today we're focused on the wealthy part. Next week, we are going to be focusing on our health. So we're going to take a break from our credit score book, and today we are continuing with our Wealth Can't Wait book. All right. And your score. This is where we're going to be today, focusing on those things concerning credit. Let me move this out of the way. There we go. Good morning, Lady Judy. Going to focus on those things concerning credit and wealth. So I hope that everybody has been having a great and wonderful day. As you can see, I am ready for the weekend. If you are one of our online partners for Life Nation, we will not be in services on this Sunday. We're actually going to be in fellowship with another ministry for a Saturday service. So I will try to, as I said, I will try to periscope into that service. It's going to be a fellowship service for us. So hopefully I'll be able to periscope into that. I believe their service starts at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday. So I will try to periscope that ministry service. But we will not be on Sunday. All right. So I don't want anybody coming to look for us on Sunday at 2:30 p.m. on here because we will not be broadcasting. So we are in the book, Your Score, which is where we're going to start. And then we're going to continue our book, Wealth Can't Wait. Good morning. Just want to remind you that once we hit broadcast episode 100, season 3 will be over, and we will be taking a break for the summer, and we're going to be coming back in August, Lord willing. So I just want to let you all know that because we are rolling right along, and episode 100 is going to be our last opportunity, our last giveaway episode as well. So, your score. And those of you who are new with us, you'll be able to catch up online. You can go back through all of our seasons 1, 2, and 3 for Daring Dialogues, and you can catch up over the summer and see what we have been talking about. So, we are back in Your Score, and we're on the chapter Building the Perfect Credit Profile. And we're going into a section called The Best Parking Spots at the Mall, and kinds of loans that you need to be careful with, and then your credit profile timeline. Here we go. The best parking spots at the mall. You can think of the different kinds of credit accounts and mortgage loans, installment loans like car and student loans, credit cards and store or merchant charge accounts, and medical debts as parking places in the garage at the mall. True, they all serve the same purpose, but some parking spaces are better than others. As you'll see, creditors like to see both a mix of different kinds of accounts and the right number of the best accounts, with the best parking spots being mortgages, home equity lines of credit, and so on. The entire process is very much like baking an apple pie. Apples are an extremely important ingredient, but there are other things you need to make the crust. At the top of the credit account hierarchy is a mortgage account. One big reason for this is the amount of vetting that goes into getting a mortgage in the first place. All 3 of your credit scores are examined, along with your credit profile, and you're committing to a large loan for an extended period of time. The loan is usually collateralized more than any other loan you carry, and having a mortgage implies some stability in your location and your employment. If you have a long track record of paying your mortgage on time, it's like having a highly trusted person vouch for your character. A home equity line of credit, a loan that you take against the equity that you've already paid into your house, is a close relative of a mortgage and nearly counts the same when looking at a credit profile. It's obviously also tied to your most valuable asset and demonstrates a history of taking an equity line and paying it off shows responsible behavior. Installment accounts like car loans and student loans are the next most valuable pieces in the credit account hierarchy. Installment loans have a defined amount you owe and a defined amount of time which to be repaid. So by definition, they're very stable. It's easy to analyze your performance on these loans to see how good you've been about paying them off. And they're also a sign of income stability. As with mortgages, people are less likely to default on car loans because they represent a very important asset to have in terms of getting through your life. Most student loans carry the extra hammer of being backed by the federal government, which means you can't blow them off and have them erased in a bankruptcy. Credit card accounts fall in the middle for a few reasons. They're the most common accounts people have, so there's lots of data to use for comparing risk. Creditors have very sophisticated tools to measure how you use your cards and predict how you'll use them in the future. That information is valuable to lenders when they are considering you for more credit, and it's important for lenders to be able to see that you use those kinds of revolving accounts responsibly. But precisely because revolving accounts are open ended and offer you the chance to spend all the way up to your credit limit, you always have the chance to defy the predictions of your creditors that they have made for you. You can run up a huge debt almost instantly, and if you default on the loan, the lenders usually have no recourse if you choose to go through bankruptcy. Having a lot of accounts with high balances, or even a lot of them with no balances, but with the potential to run up a big debt, makes you an increased risk to default in the eyes of the lender. Good morning to everyone coming in. Medical debt is at the bottom of the credit account ladder because it's almost never discretionary and isn't tied to your income. It just isn't predictive of your financial behavior. If you have to go to the emergency room and end up with a $10,000 bill that your insurance won't pay, paying it off in installments is the only way for many people to cover that expense. Yes, there's certainly value in making timely payments and a penalty for going into default, but those factors are taken into less consideration than other forms of debt. This hierarchy of forms of credit is built on two foundations: risk and predictive value. Potential creditors are trying to guess how likely you are to pay them back, and they want to be able to price that risk into the loan they give you. Even a quick look at data illustrates this point very clearly. In 2015, the foreclosure rate in the United States was at about 2%, while about 8% of all credit card balances were 90 days past due. The default on student loans was about 11%, but most of those loans were backed by the federal government, making them impossible to discharge in bankruptcy and easier for lenders to eventually collect upon. Car loans defaulted at about 3%, and even subprime car loans, loans to consumers with credit scores of less than 640, which make up about a quarter of all car loans, defaulted at only about 5%. Knowing the comparative value of these credit accounts, it's easy to see that a mortgage account and an installment loan in the form of a car or student loan are two important staples of the ideal credit profile. Beyond that, a total of 5 to 9 loans in good standing with a mixture of mortgage loan, car loan, student loan, credit cards, and store cards comprises the profile lenders want to see. As another basis of comparison, the average American has 11 lines of credit open, which is too many. That is both saddling yourself with too much debt and hurting you in your capacity to take on a lot more of it. Within the categories of loans themselves, individual loan accounts have more or less value depending on their characteristics. The longer you've had a loan with a good payment history, the more valuable it is to your profile. It is especially important when it comes to credit cards, a subject we're going to talk about more later. A credit card account that adds the most value to your credit profile is the one you've had for at least a year and that has a spotless payment history. So think hard before you replace a seasoned card with a new one. Here's a tip. If you're trying to expand your collection of credit cards in order to come closer to the ideal profile, you're better off adding cards with great promotional rates and then moving your balances to them. But at the same time, keep your older, less competitive cards open and active so you can retain the value of the age that you've had those cards. In fact, the clients in my practice, he writes, with the best profiles usually follow a common credit card strategy. They have 4 or 5 cards, but 2 of the credit cards are the ones that do the most day-to-day duty. The other cards are stashed away and used just once or twice a month to pay a small recurring bill for something like Netflix or Spotify, and those are paid automatically. That way, all the cards show regular use and aren't closed for inactivity, but the utilization rate on them stays pretty low. Of course, maybe you haven't bought a home yet. You're not going to get the benefit of a mortgage loan on your profile. And when you start shopping for a home, that's the time when you're looking to improve your profile the most. Having a very clean record with your credit cards is going to be a huge help there. And you can even enhance that by going to your local bank or credit union and obtaining a small personal loan. Use the loan to pay off one of these credit cards and make at least a year of on-time payments toward it, and you've improved your utilization rate with your credit cards and added an installment loan with a good record to your profile. Important. To secure a regular mortgage backed by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, you'll need 2 lines of credit open for a minimum of 2 years. If you don't have those, you'll be moved to a higher interest rate alternative loan no matter what your credit score is. So that's a little tip for those of you who are out doing your home shopping and trying to get a loan from Freddie Mac or Fannie Mae. Since we've talked about credit accounts that do help your profile, it's also worth noting which kinds of accounts and behaviors do not help you. One common way people access cash is taking a loan from their 401 plan at work. This practice can be useful in certain circumstances, but such loans come with some big caveats. The process is simple. Most employers have rules about if and how much employees can borrow from the vested cash in their accounts. Usually the limits are around $20,000 and must be repaid within 5 years or less. You can usually secure more flexible terms if you're using the money for the down payment on a house. When you borrow the money, the good news is you're only going to be paying yourself the interest over the life of the loan, and the proceeds are going back into your 401k account. But there's a catch, as there is with almost anything. If you change jobs, you're required to pay back the entire loan within 30 days of leaving the company, or you'll have to pay a 10% penalty on the remainder of the loan plus regular income tax on the total. For most people, that's a big hit. The other caveat is that the 401k loan doesn't appear on your credit report. So paying it back, which you are required to do by way of regular automatic payments through your paycheck, doesn't give you any benefit to your credit score or your profile. This kind of loan can be a useful tool for solving short-term cash flow problems, but it doesn't do anything for you in the long term if you want to use it as a credit profile improvement strategy. Other kinds of credit situations routinely come up for people who are struggling financially or don't have any credit score at all. Payday entitled loans are designed to provide short-term cash for individuals who don't have many other options, while rent-to-own furniture stores are an option for people who wouldn't be able to finance something in the traditional way with a credit card or a store card. A payday loan is basically a cash advance on a future paycheck, and it comes with a steep price. It's also one of the predatory things that is found throughout black communities. It is considered so predatory that Facebook will not even allow them to advertise on Facebook. Think about that. You're usually paying $15 or $30 for every $100 borrowed, which equates to an annual interest rate of more than 700% on a 2-week loan. That should actually be illegal. You don't even get the benefit to your credit score or your profile because payday lenders don't ask for credit scores to approve these loans. So they aren't reporting your performance or how well you pay it back to credit bureaus. Title lenders don't ask for credit scores either, which makes turning over the title to your car in order to secure a short-term loan another unprofitable way to improve your profile. Title lenders will offer you up to 50% of the value of your car in a short-term loan in exchange for paying a short-term interest rate of 8 to 10% per month. Whether or not you pay back the loan or lose your car also isn't reported to the bureaus. A rent-to-own contract offers you a couch or a computer or any other home furnishing for a set weekly or monthly price, which also lets you own the item outright after a certain amount of time. Or you can turn it back in before the term is over. Most people who do these deals can't finance a purchase in any other way. Like the payday and title loans, rent-to-own places don't do a credit check, so your good payment history isn't going to help you. And the cost to do a transaction this way is steep. Rent-to-own companies don't charge interest, but the weekly and monthly rates they offer, when aggregated, means you're going to end up paying 3 or 4 times the regular retail price for the item because you needed to stretch the payment out over a year or more. The truth is, scraping together some cash and buying something off of Craigslist or eBay is always going to be a better solution. If you're in a bad financial situation and have either a low credit score or no credit score, you're not going to have a full menu of options to choose from to avoid these kinds of loans. And if you're in a crisis and need cash this minute, you're not going to have the luxury of plotting out a multi-step strategy. But even if you do have to use one of these predatory lenders to get by for a week or a month, you need to go to Chapter 9 in here and follow the advice for building a new credit to get yourself back on track to rejoin the regular consumer credit marketplace where having real choices means you can save yourself big money. Lastly, your credit profile timeline. If you start pulling these levers and moving your accounts around, how long will it take to start seeing an improvement in your profile? If you're interested in buying a home, you need to start concentrating on your profile at least 1 to 2 years before you even start shopping for a mortgage. Once you start accumulating the credit accounts you need to make up the ideal profile, you'll be able to use that year to clean up the accounts you currently own so that they present themselves in the best way possible. For credit cards, that means reducing the balances so that they're at worst no more than 20% of the available credit on any given card. To show off for the best of creditors, you want to be even lower at 10% utilization or less. Low balances are just one part of the beauty pageant, though. You're also going to want to do what you can to reduce or eliminate what your credit report calls derogatory items, late payments, and other delinquencies. If your goal is to obtain the most competitive car loan or credit card introductory offer, your timeline doesn't have to advance so far out into the future. Both card lenders and credit card companies are looser with their restrictions, and they're looking for different things in your profile than what mortgage lenders are checking on. Mortgage lenders are most concerned with your long-term ability to make a relatively large payment, and whether or not the home you're buying will support the valuation and subsequently the monthly payments. If you're trying to finance 100% of a deal on a house that's been appraised at 20% higher than any other house in the neighborhood, your mortgage lender isn't going to need to see your credit scores to decide that you won't be getting that loan. It'll be a non-starter. On the other hand, car lenders need to do a much higher volume of businesses in order to make money. And cars are significantly easier to repossess than a home is. Plus, car manufacturers often contribute financing incentives that make the true cost to borrow much lower than it would be otherwise. Car lenders are looking much more at a snapshot of your credit than your overall profile and doing quick calculations to see if the income you're reporting will support the debt load that you're going to be adding. Given the relatively low risk for car loan defaults, the subprime car lending business has become one of the most profitable areas for any car dealer. They're willing to take the risk on somebody with a 650 score because it means they can get a customer paying 10 to 12% on a loan for a car they need to get to work every day. And even if they have to take the car back, it can be resold on the used lot for an even higher margin. So for them, it is a win-win. One client came looking to qualify for a mortgage, but he only had one credit card. His best credit score of the three was a 600. He improved his score to almost 800 in less than a year by taking several steps that we will talk about in more detail. First, we fought with the credit bureaus to remove a handful of inaccurate items that were being reported. Then we negotiated with several collectors that were coming for medical debt, and then we had those removed. At the same time, the client broadened his client profile by adding 2 authorized user accounts with the help of one of his oldest friends. He also picked up a secured low-limit credit card. He used that to pay his Spotify bill every month before automatically clearing it with his checking account. Lastly, he used a rent reporting website to get his great payment history on his apartment added to his credit report. So for those of you who are renting, you can actually get your rent reported to a site so that can begin building some more credit score validation for you. After 11 months, his credit scores had gone up almost 200 points, and his profile was looking good. He now had his choice of great loans from several banks, all the lowest rates available on the market. None of this work was anything heroic or tricky. And true, it does take time and willingness to use your elbows and get to work with your creditors and credit bureaus that aren't particularly interested in helping you out. But with good advice and the right plan, anybody can achieve those kind of results. If you give yourself enough time, there's no reason why you can't have your profile polished and ready for whatever you might need. Next week, we're going to go into chapter 4, where he talks about gaming the system. How do you get over on the credit score reporting? Let's move now into Wealth Can't Wait. And we're continuing our first chapter, which is a matter of choice. We left off by talking about the fact that wealth brings freedom. And when you say yes to wealth, you're saying yes to your potential for freedom. Freedom is the power to choose and create. When you say yes to wealth, you're saying yes to your potential for freedom. You're acknowledging the power of possibility in your life. The wealthy are free to express themselves as they truly are, kind and giving, or selfish and insufferable. As Will Smith has said, money and success don't change people, they merely amplify what is already there. In the absence of wealth, your choices are limited, and we believe this comprises your quality of life, work, and health. Wealth creates freedom, and freedom is the ultimate gift in life. Building wealth is saying yes to yourself. The lessons that we share, we have learned through personal experience from both wins and losses, and from carefully observing other people and their approaches to building and maintaining not only wealth, but also healthy and happy lives. Good morning to those of you who are coming in. Wealth building positively affects your personal and professional relationships and inspires your day to day outlook. As you choose to embrace wealth and experience greater opportunity for choice, over time you will feel a sense of heightened calm, satisfaction, and genuine security, and not just of the material variety. Building wealth is a way of saying yes to yourself and to those things that are important to you. It's a way to align with all that you love and all that inspires you on your journey each day. By adopting a wealthy mindset and practicing the skills, you will get to focus on what matters and what is most important to you. Wealth Accelerator. Wealth is just code for freedom, and freedom is the ultimate gift in life. So I want you to think about what they just said. Wealth is the code for freedom. So what does that mean for those who don't have wealth? Right? Let's go back to this book here. All right? Because again, there are some of us who want to operate within the system of credit. All right? And you must understand that if you want to operate within the system of credit, you're going to be the indebted person in order to maintain yourself inside of the system of credit. All right? Because that's what we've been learning about. The better your score is, put it this way, if you have a good credit score, you are in essence a good slave to your debt. Does that make sense? All right? So when we talk on Fridays, I'm going to give you information about how to be a good slave to your debt. I am, because some people want to be a part of this system. All right? So if you want to be a part of this system, you need to understand how this system works. But I'm also going to teach you about wealth is the code for freedom. All right? So the choice is up to you which system you want to live out of, but I'm going to give you information for both. So I want to make that very clear. All right? Some of us don't want to live in this system. We want to be able to just say, how much is it? Here you go. Have a nice day. You will not be collecting extra interest off of me. All right? You will not be having lots of rotating interest. All right? Yes, there's as they talk about in your score, yes, there are big ticket items that people tend to say, okay, yes, I am willing to have some debt over those big ticket items. But there are also people who have paid for their homes flat out without going through a mortgage process, okay? So again, it's all about, as this book is talking about, it's all about the mindset that you are operating and working from. Wealth can't wait, he writes. If anyone suggests that your focus on building wealth is misplaced, just smile, thank them, and wish them luck. You alone are the captain of your wealth building ship. And remember, you can't buy back your time. It's finite. So make every day count. Commit to wealth and build your bridge to freedom now, because wealth can't wait. We hope that you will take the time to contemplate your life and your choices as we move through this book. And if you don't like what you're doing or how you currently live, know that you can take action that will produce a positive change. Bonus content. Jumpstarting your journey to wealth. To reward you for taking this journey, There is bonus material online, and we will talk about that bonus material in just a second. By visiting this link below, you will find questions, diagnostics, audios, and videos, all designed to jumpstart your journey to wealth. Here is the website that you can go to. Make sure I write it down for you, where you can check out applicable data to help you with your wealth building. All right. I think I got it all. All right, so this is the website. The website is Wealth Can't Wait. wealthcan'twait.com/future Q's. And the Q is capital. wealthcan'twait.com/future Q's. And I think my letters down there are a little bit curly Q, so there we go. All right. Everybody got that? Screenshot it if you need to. That's the website that you can go to. All right. Moving on. Chapter 2. An issue of commitment. The line of progress is never straight. Martin Luther King Jr. Being wealthy, first and foremost, is a state of mind. It requires you to commit to winning the game of wealth. This will require you at times to possibly look foolish, feel uncomfortable, be direct, and to purposefully focus your efforts and resources. So, what does commitment look like? Commitment is knowing that is a knowing that permeates your being such that it becomes a part of you. It is a willingness to do whatever it takes. And I'm going to put a caveat there, whatever it takes within the bounds of law. It's a way of weaving that knowing into your fiber so that it goes with you each and every step that you take. If you commit to something 100%, it's virtually certain to happen unless you change your mind or die. That's how steadfast we can be in all of our commitments as we walk around every single day. That doesn't mean that we don't take days off or procrastinate or have moments of doubt, but our willingness to reignite our long-term vision and our commitment to our journey never wane. To attentively build wealth, you have to make these major commitments. And I'm going to use my board today because there are 4 that we're going to cover. So, major commitment, number 1. Number 1, save capital to invest. Save capital to invest. Remember, we have been talking in the previous weeks about the history of the black dollar, and that black people in this country were cash, capital, and credit. There is a wealth gap because we were initially the wealth of the country. All right? So it's not an accident that black people in this country are behind. It was intentional. It was built into the way that our government ran. So, because we are behind, it is even more imperative for us to save capital to invest. At almost any income level, you can save capital. Ronald Reed, a Vermont janitor and gas station attendant, proved this very well. By spending less than he earned and investing the rest, he ended up saving $8 million over the course of his entire life. All right. Number 2. Make saving a daily habit and revisit your spending and savings goals each month. By mastering the art of saving and investing, you could end up with a fortune the size of Ronald Reed's. So, what does that mean? If I have to make saving a daily habit, then that means that I could look at one of my daily habits or one of my weekly habits and think about, how much am I spending on that? And can I take 50% of whatever I'm spending and put it aside on a weekly basis? That might mean that you get one less cup of coffee every week. That might mean that you go out to lunch one less day or two less days every week, right? Because we say, sometimes we look at our income and we say, I don't know how I can save some money. I feel like I am spending more when I should be saving. Well, look at your grocery bill. Can you save $10 there a week? Look at your lunch bill for the week. Can you save $10 there? Look at your coffee habit. Can you save $5 there? That's $25 a week that you can be putting aside. So making a daily habit to save, right? And revisit your spending and savings goals every single month. And once you get consistent every single month at maybe that minimum amount, then you start looking at other ways that you can add to the monthly amount or the weekly amount that you're putting away. Number 3, what you all are doing right now. And many of you have committed to being on here every Friday, and I salute you. Number 3, learn about wealth. You can accomplish this by reading or listening to 4 books a year about investing and saving. Learning consistently leads to greatness over time. Learning consistently leads to greatness over time. Number 4. Number 4 is search for investments in your areas of choice. It's crucial to hunt down opportunities that produce a solid yield. Hunting is a way of life for the wealthpreneur. Keep looking until you find something that helps you win. Hunting will teach you along the way. Once you've found an investment that produces a good yield, maximize it and find another. Now, there are some new ventures that are being put out right now. One is called, let me make sure I get it right, I want to say it's that. Yes, TREF, the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. If you look it up, it is a current group, and they're only asking for African American investors. It's an investment group. So far, they have raised $2 million. They were able to raise $2 million in 48 hours. And what they did was, it's a group, it's a collective of people who have decided that they are going to invest in creating and building new real estate in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So it's an investment opportunity, and you can get in for as low as $500 in terms of the seed money to get involved. But you can look it up online. It's Tulsa Real Estate Investment Fund, and they're looking at ways to get a community involved in real estate. And they recognize that everybody doesn't have the big bucks to get involved, so they started this fund that is, as you invest in it, each person that invests in it will get a return on their investment. So again, it doesn't necessarily have to be Wall Street. Some people want to invest in real estate. There are other programs. If you look up Buy the Block, there are Buy the Block programs where people say, hey, I don't have all of the funds to invest in this real estate, but I can join with a group of people that are buying the real estate collectively so that you begin to have some investments. And of course, the real estate, the stock market is also in a place that you can invest. As the book we read before, where we talked about capitalism, he talked about the fact that you don't necessarily need a stockbroker in order to get started in investing in the stock market. All right. And number 5, last one. The last one is take action. Knowledge without action is wasted potential. Following these steps, even when your knowledge is less than complete, stop overthinking and move. So, you can learn about wealth as we're doing today. You can start searching for investments in your areas of choice, whether you want to invest in the stock market, whether you want to invest in real estate. You can save capital to invest. You can make saving a daily habit, and you can start doing that today. Think about what is it that you were planning to spend your money on this weekend, and think about how could I chop that in half and save some of that even on this weekend. All right. So that's a first basic action step that you can take. To maximize your potential, commit to these activities for the rest of your wealth building life. What if you fail? Somebody says. Failure doesn't have to stop you from building wealth. It's part of the process. If you don't do something you committed to, then let it go and start over. If you commit to taking action, failing is a certainty. It's part of the journey. Create resilience by focusing on the present and the future. Don't let a memory of failure or success hold you back. Most of the time, I have found in my personal life experience that the moment that I decide to commit to something, literally all hoopla will break loose. It never fails. Whether it is you choosing to get your health right, whether it is you choosing to lose weight, whether it is you choosing to drink more water. All right. A couple times when we started choosing to drink more water or alkaline water or better water, right? We had some instances in our neighborhood where the water pipes busted. And we're like, what does this have to do with our water? All right. So again, anytime you choose to improve something in your life, you're going to run into obstacles. You're going to run into things that make you want to give up and throw in the towel. When I see that happening, it just lets me know that I'm going in the right direction, that I'm on the right course, because I'm being met with a level of resistance. And that resistance is there to see if you are going to fold and give in, or if you are going to press on and keep going. The only time you lose, as the writer here says, is when you quit. If you failed at something, that's okay. It won't matter in the long run. Failure happens all the time. So don't waste time beating yourself up whether or not your goal is not quite where you want it to be, or whether or not you got slack. The point is to get up, regroup, and keep going. Get up, dust yourself off, and get back on track toward meeting your goal. Commitment has a massive upside. The more you keep your commitments, the better you function in all areas of your life. When you know you keep your commitments with every fiber of your being, it makes it so much easier to accomplish goals that are amazing. And this is what I have figured out as I have kept my commitments, right? Or as I have kept my goals, especially financial goals. When other people hear you voice your goals, guess what? Some of them will actually come alongside you and help you keep your commitment in that goal. For example, I have a very, very basic goal that when I go to the grocery store every week, there's only a certain amount of money that I want to spend. And my husband is very appreciative of this if he's still on there. So there's only a certain amount of money that I want to spend. And so I have downloaded grocery store apps because I'm trying to figure out ways that I can save money. I'm trying to figure out ways that I can get cash back on my grocery bill. And because I shop at the same place, right? I'm starting to figure out when the sales come on. I'm starting to figure out what kind of coupons I can get, what certain days that things fall on, so that I can get the best deals possible when I go grocery shopping. However, the other day when I went in and I was going through the checkout line, the cashier said, "Oh, your goal is X, Y, and Z." She started telling me other ways that I could save on my bill. And then she handed me an extra coupon. Why? Because she saw my commitment and my consistency, and she sees me there every single week. And now she knows what my goal is, and now she's helping me to meet my goal. All right? So, again, there is an upside of commitment. When you are consistent, for the most part, and when you voice your goals, sometimes to the right people, all right? Sometimes people are paying attention to what your goals are, and you may not even be aware that they're paying attention, but they can step up to the plate and begin to help you meet those commitments and meet your goals. So that was a pleasant surprise for me that I now have people at my grocery store in my corner helping me to meet my grocery bill balance and to stay within what I've committed to financially so that I don't overspend. All right. So that is it for today. I want to leave you with this last paragraph here. He says, develop the skills of goal setting and commitment to get more of what you want. Thank you, Life Transitions and Lady Judy and Ravonda. Thank you all for being on. Those are the names that I could see on YouTube. Lastly, as you develop goal setting skills and build goal getting muscle, you get more and more of what you want. As you get more and more of what you want, guess what happens? Your goals begin to get bigger, your choices get bigger, your vision gets bigger, and your outcomes get bigger. More becomes possible. As shown in the illustration that follows, it's a positive feedback loop of choosing what you want, getting what you want, and deciding to get even more. Develop the skills of goal setting and commitment, and you will get more and more of what you want. As you get more and more of what you want, your passion for life will begin to increase. And as your passion for life increases, you will find that you not only have the resources, but also the energy to build an even bigger vision. It is a self-reinforcing process. Thank you for allowing me to teach you today. This has been another episode of Daring Dialogues, and I have been your host, Shantae Charles. Next week, we'll be focusing on health, and we are going to come back and talk next week in the credit book about gaming the system for those of you all who want to play the game of credit. All right. Again, I will try to probably Periscope in on Saturday those services that will be in fellowship. So those of you who would like to join us on Periscope, let me write down the address for those of you who are not Periscopers. Right now, you're only on YouTube. Periscope is very easy to jump on. You do not have to have a Periscope account, by the way, to see Periscope. All you have to do is go to pscp.tv/Life Nation, all one word, and it will bring you directly onto our Periscope broadcast And I think all you have to do is click on the kind of looks like this, the little speaker icon. If you click on it, you won't be able to comment, but if you're just watching online, you'll be able to listen in to whatever broadcast it is. So it's very simple. But if you have a Periscope account, all you have to do is look for us at Life Nation inside of Periscope and follow us, and then you'll get the notifications for our broadcasts when we go live in the Periscope app. Also, if you have Twitter, you can follow me on Twitter at ChurchLove333, and you can see our Periscopes also through my Twitter account. All right. So I want to thank you all for your time and attention today. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. We know that it is Father's Day weekend. We want to say blessings and peace and honor be bestowed upon all of the wonderful fathers out there, married or not, single or married, men who are taking care of their children, their responsibilities, holding it down. We say thank you and we salute you for carrying out that responsibility and enjoying the gift of being a father. So happy Father's Day to all the fathers out here this weekend. Remember, light is the most daring opposition to darkness. And God bless.